Recently, many regions in China have been hit by heavy rains, leading to disasters such as landslides and building collapses. On the morning of July 15th, around 11 a.m., a section of the road at the Shiji Gang intersection on Bada Road in Dongguan City collapsed. According to official reports, there were no injuries or vehicle losses at the scene. A citizen captured the moment of the road collapse on a video. The footage shows a man in a white shirt holding a red plastic bag walking past the scene. A white van had just driven by when the road started to cave in, creating a large hole tens of meters long and 2 meters deep. The road barrier fell into the hole instantly. A shop owner near the intersection of Bada Road and Xingyuan Street in Dongguan described the incident as sounding like an earthquake. She was inside her store when the road collapsed. The area is now closed off and personnel are handling the situation. Road collapses are not unique to Dongguan. On July 11th, a road in Badong County and Shi City, Hubei Province, collapsed after heavy rain. A video shared online showed the road severely broken and deformed, revealing the poor construction quality. As China's real estate crisis unfolds, more and more poorly constructed buildings are collapsing. In the early hours of July 17th, part of a residential building at 130 Wenwei Road in Lianhua Street, Nanchang City, Jiangxi Province, collapsed, trapping one person. By 9:55 a.m., the trapped person was found dead. A nearby shop owner mentioned that the collapsed building was a 6-story residential building, which had already shown signs of wall cracks and other safety issues. Nearby buildings are also unsafe. Residents said the building collapsed around 8 a.m. on July 17th. This was not an abandoned building. Many people lived there, and the collapse happened so suddenly that some residents couldn't escape in time. After the incident was exposed, many people criticized the quality of the renovation projects in old residential areas, calling them mere surface-level fixes. The internal structures of these buildings are already unstable. Some netizens left a message saying that similar incidents are happening in Nanchang one after another, and this one is yet another shoddy project. There are several reasons for the building collapse. First, some developers cut corners and use substandard materials to save costs, leading to poor quality buildings. Second, continuous heavy rain in Nanchang has damaged the geological structure, weakening the building's foundation. Third, if the underground pipes near the building leaked, the water could erode the foundation over time. Lastly, poor management and delayed maintenance also contribute to such collapses. If safety hazards in old buildings are ignored, they become ticking time bombs. Recently, there have been more collapse incidents in China, highlighting the widespread issue of poorly constructed buildings. A recent video on Douyin caught the attention of many viewers. It showed an outdoor entrance hall of a residential building that was under construction collapsing. Fortunately, the workers reacted quickly and climbed onto pipes, avoiding a fall. The situation was very dangerous. On July 18th, in Huizhou, Guangdong, flames emerged from a sewer in front of the old market on Hengtou Street. The local authorities quickly sealed off the area to handle the situation. The Huizhou Fire Department reported that the fire was extinguished and there were no casualties. Preliminary investigations revealed that the fire was caused by drilling through a gas pipeline during road foundation exploration. On June 21st, around 3 p.m., a scaffold collapsed at a high-rise building under construction next to the Guansheng gas station on Tianfu Street, Tianhe District, Guangzhou. People were trapped at the scene. The building was surrounded by scaffolding, part of which collapsed and piled up on the ground. The video captures heartbreaking cries, with a man saying that people were hit and urging to call the police. A witness said they were at home when they suddenly heard a loud noise, followed by screams. Looking out from the balcony, they saw the collapsed scaffolding with people trapped underneath. The building had been undergoing elevator renovations for 2 to 3 months before the collapse, and the cause remains unclear. Recent heavy rains have triggered floods, leading to numerous building collapses. In a video, a male homeowner repeatedly laments the huge loss, while a female homeowner's heart-wrenching cries are difficult to watch. The loss of hundreds of thousands of yuan represents a lifetime of hard work gone to waste. A viewer commented that the collapse was due to an unstable foundation. Continuous rain caused water to seep underground, weakening the foundation and leading to the sudden collapse. On July 10th, a netizen in Lanzhou, Gansu, reported ground subsidence at the Bichuyuan Garden in Pali Mountain City. The area, spanning over 100 meters, has been unable to operate for nearly 2 months due to the gradual subsidence. After initial subsidence of about 1.5 meters, the depth has now reached over 5 meters following excavation. The situation feels like patching up a garment, with ground subsidence and subsequent repairs occurring repeatedly. Despite ongoing maintenance, shop owners are dissatisfied, noting that merely filling the ground and smoothing the surface doesn't address the root cause. They believe a complete foundation overhaul is necessary to solve the problem. On May 8th, another netizen in Lanzhou, Gansu, reported a collapse in the foundation of the commercial area in the first phase of Hengda Mountain Water City. The housing foundation is now suspended in midair. The Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau stated they are aware of the issue and advised contacting the leadership directly. The ground subsidence in the Hengda Mountain Water City community has affected many residents' daily lives. The cracked roads have damaged vehicles, and some have fallen into the gaps. A netizen pointed out that the problem was due to inadequate compaction of the backfill soil. In a rush to meet construction deadlines, the foundation was hastily filled while the building's main structure was already halfway constructed.
Since the beginning of the year, the ground beneath our building has been sinking more than a meter. The entire perimeter of our community's main gate has also collapsed, including both sides of the main road leading into the community. In just a month, the sinking is visibly noticeable, with large hollow spaces beneath the surface.
On April 18th, residents reported severe ground subsidence at the Evergrande Mountain Water City community in Yuzhong County, Lanzhou, Gansu Province. Videos posted online show continuous and extensive subsidence on the roads at the community entrance. Resident Mr. Bao said that the subsidence is mainly concentrated in the first phase of the community, with the most severe damage at Building 1, located in the southeast corner. While the internal subsidence is not very noticeable, the external areas have sunk more than a meter. Mr. Bao noted that since the beginning of the year, the entire building, including the outer gate, has been surrounded by subsidence. The rate of subsidence is visible to the naked eye, and the hollow spaces beneath are evident. Previously, the community had minor subsidence issues, which residents could tolerate, but the accelerated rate this year is too significant to ignore. The Yuzhong County Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau stated that subsidence within the property management area is being repaired, but subsidence on external roads cannot be managed by them and must be reported to other departments. On June 20th, Mr. Chen, a resident of Greenland Intercity Space in Zhuzhou, Hunan, reported that despite finally receiving their long-awaited apartment, they could easily punch 2 holes in the floor with PVC pipes and wooden sticks, causing cement chunks to fall. Mr. Chen expressed frustration, saying they had spent hundreds of thousands on a school district house for their children, only to find such poor quality. The developer responded on July 1st, claiming that the holes were pre-drilled for structural safety and would not affect the building's safety. However, this explanation did not satisfy the public's concerns about construction quality. Other netizens highlighted the broader issue of inadequate quality control in construction, despite multiple inspections and supervision. The frequent exposure of shoddy construction practices in commercial housing raises serious concerns. A netizen commented that current construction standards in real estate are poor, with subpar materials being used. A professional explained that while the holes are necessary for marking and measurement during construction, they should be filled with fine stone concrete, but this step was likely skipped to cut costs. Mr. Yu, a Chinese-American structural engineer, believes that penetration holes are necessary. The problem arises if the concrete grade is insufficient, the tensile strength is inadequate, or the reinforcement is insufficient. Even without holes, it would still be unsafe. Under heavy loads, cracks might appear, and in extreme cases, it would collapse. He said, small cable holes require concrete in the slabs, while large cable holes need additional reinforcement. When pouring concrete, the edges of the holes should be rough so that the concrete can grip properly. Otherwise, it will slide off if it's too smooth. Some commenters pointed out that this is not just a major quality issue, but also highlights insufficient quality control. Despite having multiple inspections, supervision, quality control stations, self-inspections, and third-party inspections, the quality control is still lacking, which is thought-provoking. Additionally, recently there have been frequent exposures of substandard construction and commercial housing. According to the YouTube channel China Uncensored, facilities are faked to meet delivery deadlines. Some fire hydrants have no water, and some sewers do not drain. Water leaks into basements, causing flooding. So-called solid wood and eco-friendly security doors are found to be made of cardboard when peeled open. Iron railings are rusty, and guardrails are unsafe to touch. On May 16th, a netizen reported that the Evergrande Seasons East complex in Shenyang is a shoddy construction project. In the video, the sewer is half blocked, the owner's hand cannot reach inside, and the roadside tiles cover vertical shafts with wooden boards, which can be easily lifted by hand. The owner said the construction is simply too poor. Another homeowner who bought a unit in the second phase of the project left a comment under the video, saying, "I deeply regret buying this house. We bought it for our child's wedding, and now we don't even dare to set a wedding date. It's infuriating dealing with these developers." In Pingtan County, Fujian, the Shiji Gang complex has many hollow columns. Residents discovered that the load-bearing columns in the lobby could be easily broken apart by hand, revealing bent steel reinforcements inside, making the columns effectively suspended. The floor slabs are cracked and the main beams are broken, requiring repouring of concrete to fix them. Cracks are visible everywhere. Netizens have commented, "In ancient China we had the hanging temple, now we have hanging buildings." Leading the way, indeed. It's typical of Chinese construction, impressive on the outside but poor in quality. Structural engineer Mr. Yu explained that if the columns are steel, they are usually hollow in the middle, which is normal. However, concrete columns should be solid, filled with concrete and reinforced with steel. He said concrete needs to have a certain strength, which requires a proper water-to-cement ratio. To achieve the required strength, the right amount of cement must be used and tested. Cement is expensive, so some builders skimp on cement and use more cheap stone, resulting in weak concrete that crumbles easily. Such columns are essentially useless and must be redone. On June 24th, the Vanke Financial Center, Tower A, in Nanchang, Foshan, started shaking. A resident described it as feeling like being on a boat. People noticed that indoor items, kettles, and even elevator doors were shaking, indicating the whole foundation was moving. Many netizens questioned how such a building, from planning to completion, passed government inspections, despite having such a shallow foundation. Mr. Yu explained that designing and constructing a foundation is complex. It involves architects, structural engineers, and soil engineers who must assess the soil quality, whether it's mud, sand, or rock. Cutting corners in this process can lead to long-term issues like subsidence or tilting, causing structural damage. Regarding the shaking of high-rise buildings, Mr. Yu said that it could be due to inadequate foundation support. The foundation must have sufficient strength, rigidity, and resistance to vibrations, such as wind-induced movements. High-rise buildings need to be sturdy enough to prevent resonance from wind or other forces. Mr. Yu noted that high-rise buildings are flexible structures. If a building is too flexible, it can resonate with wind or other forces, causing significant movement. For example, a tightly stretched wire barely moves in the wind, but a loose flag flutters loudly. Poor quality construction projects in China are described with the term Tofu-Dreg project, referring to buildings that fail to meet standards due to corruption and poor oversight. Almost every year, heavy rains cause multiple landslides on roads and railways in mainland China. Current affairs commentator Wang Jian told Deutsche Welle that these incidents highlight the lack of supervision under a dictatorship. Government infrastructure projects are prone to corruption, resulting in poor quality. With large sums of money involved and no oversight, only a small portion of the funds is used for actual construction, leading to quick collapses. Floods test the integrity of these structures, and unfortunately, many fail. Commentator Tang Jinyuan believes that the Chinese Communist Party prioritizes GDP and economic gains over everything else, disregarding quality and safety to make money by any means necessary.